Okay, so my favorite drill to learn this motion down and forward with the head and the shoulders is to place an alignment rod through the belt loops. All of it should stick on the outside part of my left hip, not to the right, because I don't want to hit it. And I'll also take my club and I'm going to cross that across my shoulders. Right hand over my left shoulder, left hand over my right shoulder. What I want to feel here as I go up to the top and get a visual is I want to feel this blue stick and this club head working down, forward, and left. Down, forward, and left. If I want to move my low point forward, those are the sensations that I'm trying to feel. I'm going to do maybe 2 or 3 reps of that, take the club off, and still feel the same thing with this blue alignment rod. Down, forward, and left. Down, forward, and left. So I'm trying to whip that alignment rod behind me as I do that. And the beautiful thing about this is I can still hit a ball. I'm visualizing my club head hitting in the zone, the blue stick going down, forward, and left as I come down. And that's a second piece how I can get my low point out in front of the golf ball. I want to talk to you today about live view golf. Now you guys hear me say all the time that you need feedback when you're practicing. You need to know if you're actually doing what you're trying to do, and the best way to give yourself feedback ultimately is video. And not only is video the best way to give yourself feedback, but being able to see yourself simultaneously as you're doing a movement is the best form of video feedback. It's the best way I've seen to make changes in your swing and be able to correlate the differences between your feels and your reels. Live view is super easy to use and set up. Simply set it up behind or in front of you. You connect it with your iPad or phone, pop that on the ground. You can actually do your practice, see yourself as you're doing it, the best way to expedite your process. I encourage you guys to check out Live View Golf. We'll put a link in the description down below with a coupon code. Hey, Eric here, back outside at the Bethlehem Golf Club. In today's video, I want to talk about how to hit the ball first and the turf second. Really the most important thing to playing good golf and hitting solid contact. There's 2 things we're going to do with the body motion that are important, and 1 thing with the arms and hands. We're going to talk about each one. I'll give you 3 simple drills to do. Let's dive in. Okay, so let's first start out with the body motion. Now, right before we dive in here, let's just clarify what we're talking about. So to be able to hit the ball solid, because the golf ball is on the ground, my intention with the club here is to get the club head working down towards the ground. The idea is to strike the golf ball and not hit the ground until some amount after the ball. Now, we have this little alignment rod here because we're on the mat. The idea here would be if I were striking on grass and I had a little line here in front of me, most of you have seen a line drill, that club head, for me to hit it solid, should strike somewhere out in front of the ball. And really, if I took my second alignment rod and placed that here, it should be somewhere about within this zone. This is about a 3-inch gap right in front of the golf ball. So if I put the middle of the ball on the line and then I put the secondary stick 3 inches in front, this little zone here is really your safe zone. So if you're on grass, you can have a little line there, spray paint, piece of tape, etc. But for mats, you can have this zone here and think, hey, I want to learn how to get my club head hitting somewhere forward in that zone. The question is, how do we do that? That's what we're here for. 2 body pieces. To me, the first and most important thing in terms of hitting in front is how the body works. And one of those 2 things is from the top of my backswing as I start down, my body has to move 2 ways. It has to move down towards the ground and forward towards the target. So if you drew a circle around my head as I start my downswing, I want to work down and forward. As I do that, you'll notice my left shoulder and my left hip both working down and forward as I start down. What that does is takes my low point and enables me to hit more forward. The feel is that I'm sort of floating down and forward, increasing pressure under my left foot. Left shoulder's working down, left hip is working down for my irons. The opposite of those, if I were to work up and to the right, you can see how that would lead me to hitting well behind the ball with any of those 2. If I move to the right too far, I'll hit too far behind. If I move up too far, I'm gonna miss the ground completely. So that's why it's important to do those two. Left shoulder, left hip down and forward to start the downswing. And I'd start with just those feels. I'll go ahead and hit one as an example. So the feel would be up to the top, left shoulder, left hip down. And as I'm doing that motion, I'm visualizing my club head landing just forward of the ball in that little zone there. So up to the top, left shoulder, left hip working down as I start down. And when you do that correctly, you should get the low point in front of the ball and feel a lot more compression. Let's talk about an easy drill to do here. Okay, so my favorite drill to learn this motion down and forward with the head and the shoulders is to place an alignment rod through the belt loops. All of it should stick on the outside part of my left hip, not to the right because I don't want to hit it. And I'll also take my club and I'm going to cross that across my shoulders. Right hand over my left shoulder, left hand over my right shoulder. What I want to feel here as I go up to the top and get a visual is I want to feel this blue stick and this club head working down, forward, and left. Down, forward, and left. If I want to move my low point forward, those are the sensations that I'm trying to feel. I'm going to do maybe 2 or 3 reps of that, take the club off, and still feel the same thing with this blue alignment rod. Down, forward, and left. Down, forward, and left. So I'm trying to whip that alignment rod behind me as I do that. And the beautiful thing about this is I can still hit a ball. I'm visualizing my club head hitting in the zone. The blue stick going down, forward, and left as I come down. And that's a second piece so I can get my low point out in front of the golf ball. So that's one part, down, forward, and left. Let's talk about the second motion of how the body works. The second piece to being able to hit ball and then turf and the ground in front of the ball is the rotation. So not only do we want to go down and forward, and if I were to just take my setup to show a simple illustration, when I push down and forward with my head and my shoulder, naturally my handle and my hands are going to go more forward. Ultimately, for me to hit the turf in front of the ball, my handle and my hands need to be more forward, about over the left foot or left shoe at impact. So pushing down and forward gets the handle forward, but also rotation gets the handle forward. So if I get my belt buckle and my shirt buttons turned towards the target, and I did nothing else with my arms and hands, you'll notice that also is going to push my hands forward. So if I can combine those two, down and forward with the left hip, left shoulder, with sufficient amount of rotation or turn with the belt buckle and shirt buttons, I can easily get my low point forward. The easiest and best drill that I like to do this is to use the chair in front. So you guys have seen us do this before. If I take my normal setup position, obviously I'm not going to do this and the stick at the same time. You can do those separate. I put the chair about a hand outside of my left leg here. My goal is going to be from the top, I'm going to push down and forward with my left hip and left shoulder, and then I'm going to try and feel my belt buckle push up against the chair. I don't want my hips to push up against it. I want to feel down and forward and my belt buckle against it. My favorite way to do this drill would be put the club across your shoulders like the last one, up to the top, left hip and shoulder down, and then as I move forward, belt buckle up, club parallel. So from here, if you see the alignment rods on the ground still, my hips and my shoulders should be parallel to those rods. So I'm fully turned towards the target. If I can combine both of those feels together, the odds of me hitting in front of the ball are incredible. So down and forward with the head and shoulder combined with belt buckle to the chair and overall body rotation will get my pivot forward. Let's put those together. And if I can feel those pieces, that's going to, again, allow me the best chance to hit forward of the golf ball. Okay, so we know how the body motions are supposed to work. Just a brief little part on the arms. For me to have the best odds of striking the ground in front of the golf ball, I really want to make sure that my arms get fully extended, not at the ball, but about 45 degrees past the ball. So my sensation here with the iron, because I need to hit down, is to have my arms straight to about here. So when I'm feeling these things for you, you can feel left hip, left shoulder down and forward, arms extended. Left shoulder, left hip down and forward. Your head's gonna move a little down and forward too. Arms extended. And in the act of you trying to get the arms extended here, because my body's down and forward, as I'm straightening them, the club is gonna hit the ground in front of the turf. So I would just add that in if you need to, have the arms extended at 45. So left shoulder, left hip down, arms extended at 45. And if I can combine those pieces together, I should have a very easy time hitting in front of the ball. If you're on a mat, lay 2 sticks down here like this, one in line with the ball, one about 3 inches in front. If you're on the grass, again, you could do a spray paint, etc. Find one or several of these feels that work. You don't really need to video yourself with this because you have proof in terms of your divot. This will help you compress the ball a lot more. If you have any questions, as always, leave a comment down below. Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video. If you like the video, do us a favor, click that like button down below, it really helps us out. Click the notification bell, also please subscribe. You're gonna see 2 videos pop up on the screen with more information about these topics. One of them talks more about transitioning from the backswing to the downswing, how to shift pressure forward, and the other one will talk more about the lead, shoulder, and hip tilting to start the downswing. Go ahead and watch those, you'll love them.